in action this week. Got my cup of joe, got my cup, but it has a B on it for my husband. We have a B and then M for Michelle. Today I have a friend. Her name is Renata, and she created her own company called Renewing Mom. You could find her on Instagram, on the web, Facebook. She's got a private Facebook group that you can join, and her mission is exactly kind of what it sounds, renewing moms. So moms finding themselves beyond the world of mom. And Renata was just at a conference in Detroit, and it was the Mother's Summit, and I wish I could have gone. We had stuff going on this weekend with the holiday weekend, but she made the trip up to Detroit. Renata did for the Mother's Summit, and wonderful speakers were there. It looked like an awesome weekend. If you go on if you just look up online, you can probably find some excellent information about how the summit went and the speakers that are there to help new and seasoned mommies, and I can't wait to hear more about how the summit went. Anyways, what Renata brought up, that she had seen a speaker on a panel, and the speaker's name was Darcy Lockman, and Darcy is a recent author of a book called All the Rage, Mothers, Fathers, and the Myth of Equal Partnership. So Renata on her Instagram stories the other day was talking about this book. She's just starting to read it, so she has doesn't have a full opinion on the book yet, but seems like based on Renata's energy and the things she was talking about on her Instagram stories that this is a subject that she's very passionate about, and I saw a fire in her that I haven't seen before, this type of fire. She's had many different types of fires and energy coming out, but this one was very unique. I watched her face and the way she was talking, and I could tell there was a lot of passion behind this in a good way. And I can't wait to hear her take on the book. I'm eventually going to read it. I've got that whole list of books that I'm going to be staying to my schedule in regards to reading. So All the Rage will be on that list. And there's many books called All the Rage, so just make sure you get the one by Darcy Lockman. And the subtitle is Mothers, Fathers, and the Myth of Equal Partnership. So as we get into this subject here, and thank you, Renata, for prompting this for myself, equal partnership. I kind of wasn't thinking about this until Renata brought it up. And I was watching Darcy, some video that Renata had of Darcy speaking on a panel at the summit. I have a lot of friends who talk super positively about their husbands, and which I'm very glad. Nothing's worse than hanging around a bunch of women that, bitch and complain about their husbands all the time. We bitch and complain sometimes. I mean, and of course these men do it internally or externally as well, to us, about us. But anyways, it's nice that, I come home a lot of times with the, casual complaints, the husband crimes that sometimes happen. And by the way, if you want to listen to a really funny podcast episode, What Fresh Hell podcast, again, What Fresh Hell, they have an awesome podcast about husband crimes. So go on that as I go off on a tangent. But anyways, it kind of ties into this. But, we talk about common husband crimes. My most common husband crime, for example, is, we could be having a huge party for 40 people, 7-course dinner, setting up tables, decor, all that. And I will look at my husband and I'll ask him, like, hey, can you help out? Or he'll see me kind of stressing out, setting things up. And he will help out, but he will do things that have nothing to do with the party. So I know this is common because my mom actually told me that my stepfather does this. And then when I mentioned this on the What Fresh Hell Facebook group, it was hilarious how many people were like, oh my gosh, me too. But one of my husband crimes that I always complain about is that so again, we could have a party. The Queen of England could be showing up for all I know. And that man will be cleaning out the garage with a leaf blower. The leaf blower is a huge thing, and the shop vac. He will be shop vacuuming the basement. He will be outside leaf blowing the driveway. Like, the leaves on the driveway make a difference for the party. He will be doing everything but items for the party. Granted, sometimes, he does do things for the party, but sometimes I'll just, hear him doing something, and I'm like, what the fuck is he doing down there? And it's nothing I get mad about. I actually kind of laugh about it. And all I do is say, hey, can you stop, rearranging the basement shelves and vacuuming, whatever, the rugs outside, and come in and help me with this party. So sometimes, you need to just ask. But a lot of women out there are kind of tired of asking. And I remember my mother telling me, and I appreciated this advice, but, she said that, men, their brains work differently, and a lot of times they may not initiate helping you out around the house, helping you out with the kids, helping you make meals, laundry, the list goes on and on of the things that we do. And my mom said they may not initiate, but if you ask and they do it, then that's a good thing. So I always, live this mentality with my marriage of well, if, whenever I ask him, he never says no or complains. He always is like, oh yeah, sure. And he, with enthusiasm, and he loves, to help. He is a helper. I see that with myself and with, people around him that he cares about. So he does enjoy participating and helping. But, I was watching this, woman speak at one of Renata's events with Renewing Mom. It was a live event in our local neighborhood. And this woman was a new mom, young kids, and her husband was taking the kids to the pool for the first time. And so she could go to this event with a couple of her girlfriends, and a life coach was there, just a night out with her friends and learning about how to, be better with her relationships. That was the theme. And she sat there and, was telling this life coach, I feel like I have to do everything for him, or it just doesn't get done. And she was talking about this pool bag and all the things that go into this pool bag for her, 2 to 3 kids. I forgot how many, and all the details that go into a simple excursion as going to a park or a pool, and how he just doesn't do the shit that she does. And it got turned around. The conversation got turned around to be, some people on her well, is it done to your standards? Maybe your standards are unrealistic. Maybe what your expectations are too high. Maybe you're the alpha that needs to be in control of everything, and he is just submissive because he feels your control, and anything he's going to do, you're going to bitch about, complain about, correct him, or do it your own way. So he eventually just stops asking. So it starts turning around where this mother then, along with myself and maybe you, we start feeling like it's our fault, that maybe we're too anal retentive. Maybe our standards are too high, or our expectations are too high. Maybe we're not communicating enough, which I don't know, other than a sign across my face. I don't know how you can't observe someone folding laundry for 2 hours while you're sitting on your butt watching, football or playing on your phone, and you don't see that someone needs help. Would your partner be doing that at their job? Would they be doing it in other situations? And yes, we are part of the problem. I am guilty of folding my laundry for 2 hours while my husband's on, his iPad watching CNN or, whatever he's doing. I have no idea sometimes, Twitter. And I'm guilty of not saying hey buddy, can you help me out with the laundry? I've been sitting here on my butt trying to also entertain my daughter, and you're sitting there for 2 hours either watching football or on your phone or on your iPad or taking a nap. And I'm also, about to make dinner, and I've got a 6-year-old that's like, Mommy, come play with me, or Mom, I need help with this. And I look over on the couch and someone's sleeping and can't hear. So, yes, I may be guilty of not telling him directly or, correcting things or asking for help in the right ways. That was another thing the life coach was saying at Renata's event, that we need to express ourselves and request things in ways that the male brain can understand and respond to. So I agree with this. Like, my husband doesn't respond to the scolding, bitching, on him, with a tone that I'm almost like pissed at him, versus the, hey, it would help me if you did X so I can do Y. It would make me feel, Z. And putting it in a way where there's more meaning behind it versus me being like another mother to him, telling him what to do. However, it's like I still struggle as to why it's always placed back on us. And, as much as I see and hear stories of my friends talking about how much their husbands do help around, I do see more active dads out there. There's a lot more flexibility with people's jobs nowadays, people working from home. I see more active involvement with dads. My dad was amazing, but my dad also worked in the city and had trials and traveled for work, where my mom was, took on most of the duties. And that is this mentality that we've pulled from different generations, that we as the mom, as the female role, are the ones that do the cleaning, the cooking, the housekeeping, and a lot of the children's stuff. I mean, I sit here and I make decisions on what she eats, what she wears with, we go shopping for the clothes, her bedding, her furniture in her bedroom, the type of high chair, the type of crib, anything like her lunchbox, her backpack, her school supplies, keeping up on her school communication, researching outside activities. And I may be the one doing this, but in all honesty, I've kind of sat back, and my husband doesn't initiate it. So it's not like I'm taking over anything he wants to do, because I'll test it and I'll just kind of sit back, like with activities, for example. Let's take a break this season, until winter break starts. He has zero interest in figuring out any extracurricular activities for her to do, even one activity. I'm, doing that, and that's important to me. When it comes to her meals, he's perfectly fine, pulling out hot dogs and mac and cheese every Wednesday when he has meal duty that night because I have to work. So, or bringing home food from his restaurant. And that's fine, that's one night of the week. But he is not active in the culinary world of our house. He brings stuff home, makes it out of a box or something easy to, fulfill his duty. Cleaning wise, he will randomly go on a cleaning spree, and I so appreciate it. But then there's days where he will see me and know that I'm vacuuming, washing floors, cleaning bathrooms for hours, and he will watch football all afternoon. So I was telling Renata on Instagram, like, I have a struggle with a super helpful husband that's balls out for certain things. Like, let's say 2 days, he goes all out with so many things and is just on top of things, above and beyond helping out. And then he falls off the face of the earth for 3 days. So it's like during those 3 days, I feel bad about bitching or complaining because we just had 2 days of him doing so much. So I think I have to get out of that world of thinking of the past and thinking about like what's going on right now. And maybe my expectation isn't that unrealistic. Like, hey, would you mind, like, when this game is done, like maybe folding a couple of loads of that laundry that I just, have been doing? That would be really helpful, to me, and just living in the moment instead of being like, well, he just did all this stuff 2 days ago. I feel bad asking him to do one thing right now. It doesn't seem like that mentality, works. So I know most of my friends, when I talk to them about this subject, they do most of the stuff. They do most of the cleaning, the activities, picking out clothes, getting the kids mostly ready for things, getting them ready for, I'm making the lunches, I'm making the snacks, I'm getting the backpack ready in the morning. And I don't have someone that's swooping in and saying, you know what, you do this every day. Let me do this. Can I pack her bag? He's got a brain. He's assertive. He's a business owner. He's got a strong personality. So a life coach may tell me, well, are you expressing to him and telling him how you feel and the feelings that you want to have and all this, yada, yada. But that only goes so far, because after a while, and this woman with the pool bag at the event was saying this, like, you're sick of asking. Like, why do I always have to ask? Why does it always fall on me and I have to be the aggressor and ask? Like, why can't you just offer? Or why can't there be that equal partnership? And I don't think there really is. I think fathers have become definitely more helpful in this generation, but I still think most of the stuff falls on the moms. And I'd love to hear if you feel the same way. And, what's new, too, about our generation, I don't know about your mom, but my mom stayed at home most of our childhood. She went back to work when she had to, when my parents got divorced when I was in high school, a junior in high school. So she had to go back to work then. So I think she was at home expected, like, well, what else are you doing? So of course she's going to be the homemaker. But now we have, along with people still staying at home, which is awesome, we have people that have businesses out of their home. We have people that are working, women that are working out of their home. We have women that are working outside of the home, and women that are traveling for their job. And that then they're still expected to do all of the housekeeping and child rearing and all of that. And that's a lot to put on our shoulders. It's a lot back in the day for my mom to handle, or your mom or grandmother. Much more now. We have so much more stress. We have less time definitely on our hands, and we're probably working as much or more than our partners are working. And so the whole working thing is not an excuse anymore. When people get home, we need to have more equal partnership in this, and to debunk this myth that, that we as mothers should be handling all of this stuff and continuing that cycle. We need to modernize motherhood and modernize parenthood and partnership, because it is a partnership. There isn't a boss. There isn't, an assistant. There isn't, I don't want to be in charge of everything. It's a lot of pressure. I want his input too. I want his contribution. I want my daughter to see that too, that her dad isn't just the person going to work and coming home and playing with her. That, and this is actually, now my mind is jogging. The other day I was making the beds, so I was changing sheets and making beds, and Brooklyn wanted to play. And I said, and I'm very big on her knowing how to wait, even if it's 20 minutes. I will do it, but you need to wait because mommy's in the middle of something. So I'm like, I'll play with you for sure, but mommy has to finish making the bed, or else you're constantly like half-assing all of your, duties, whether it's work or home. So finish what you're doing and your child can wait. So anyways, while I was doing that and she was actually helping, she's like, Mom, I think Daddy should be doing this. And I'm like, oh, and I love when she makes exclamations, and I can just kind of prod and ask her why she thinks that. And I said, well, why do you think that? And she's like, you do everything. Why are you always doing the beds? Why are you always doing the laundry, Mommy? And Daddy needs to do it too. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, how did a 6-year-old even observe and pay attention to this, and then have that brain power to say and to know that it's not right for me to do it all? Okay, so in regards to telling my husband all of this 20 minutes that I've told you, I'm really I'm a people pleaser. I'm worried about people being mad at me. I'm worried about people being upset. I'm worried about hurting people's feelings or appearing annoying or like I'm harping. So this is going to be a challenge for me to express to my husband that although I appreciate the many things he does, because sometimes there's things he does in our house where I don't realize it, like, you know, replacing the filters in our heater and blah, 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 and our humidifier, and kind of like the nitty gritty housework, like house stuff that, you know, plumbing wise, or, you know, something that, you know, I have never touched. So he, you know, it's like, sometimes I play around with, maybe we do have some equality in things, because there are things that he does, like harder stuff around the house that I don't touch because he just does it. So I'm guilty of, you know, maybe not being a partner with those kind of things as well. So my goal is I need to probably talk to him about this, that, you know, football season is hard for me. Because as many of you know, the world of football has spread not only from a Sunday football day back in the day, but football is now Monday night football, Thursday night football, Friday night, Saturday is college football, then you have all day Sunday and into Sunday night. You know, he goes to bed about 10 and he's been watching football all fucking day on Sunday. So I'm really, when it comes to football season, he's kind of checked out. Like, he will lay on that couch all day watching Red Zone, which is a show where that just skips from game to game and shows you highlights from each game. Or he'll, you know, if he wants to watch a certain game, he'll watch it. But I'm like, I sit there sometimes as I'm folding laundry or I'm wiping off counters or I'm, you know, starting to make dinner, and I'm like, I wouldn't even dare feel comfortable watching Real Housewives reruns Thursday night, Friday night, all day Saturday into Saturday night, all day Sunday and Monday, and just laying on the couch with a blanket on me, taking random naps, getting on my phone, looking at the TV, while my family is on the outside. And, you know, if he watches this, which I don't know if he will, he may be a little upset because he does do a lot. So, honey, if you're watching, I know you do a lot, and I will be talking to you about this soon. But it's been really bothering me that sometimes I feel like I am on an island alone with my daughter while you're just laying on the couch all day with a cat in your lap. I would love to sit there and watch Real Housewives of New York all day and watch you do 60,000 things, including taking care of our daughter and taking her out here, going to Trader Joe's and blah, 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 blah. So I think after this, I need to read this book, All the Rage, Mothers, Fathers, and the Myth of Equal Partnership, because I do believe that we still do not have equal partnership in the duties in our house, and in raising our children. And it needs to change. And if it isn't changing with your partner, with the father, or, you know, whoever you're, you know, it doesn't have to be a male, it doesn't have to be a father, with your partner, if you're having a challenge, is there equality, or at least somewhat equality? Would love your comments, would love to hear your thoughts. And if you have read this book yet, love to hear your thoughts on the book. You can get the book on Amazon, and she's got great reviews so far, and she's a great speaker as well. I believe, I don't know her credentials, but I know she's, with this book specifically, she has a lot of research behind what she's writing. So it's not just a memoir of some kind, you know, nothing against a memoir. I'm basically writing one myself. But as I flip my husband's little reminders, but All the Rage, this book has data and research supporting what Darcy Lockman is talking about. So, under 25-minute mark, I would love to hear from you. Let's connect. My website is michellemansfieldauthor.com. and Michelle is with 2 L's. And you can find me on Instagram, happy_family_project. So Happy Family Project. Thanks so much for watching, listening, and hearing me kind of rage all back and forth. That actually wasn't raging. I try not to rage too much, but internally rage. Have a great day. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.